All right, we're back on the Norton. Got the horn out. Not sure we had to take it up. We're going to figure that out later. We're going to clean it and try it and test it anyway before we rehang it. Right now we are trying to get this big airbox out. This is 1975 only. I think it was instigated by California requirements, but we call it the United States Federal Noise Suppression Intake box, because in 75, I believe it was, they had substantial noise reduction requirements, and one of the louder things on these bikes was the sound of the engines sucking air. So they made this great big box to quiet down the intake, and then they had to take it somewhere and run it through a sound trap at cruising speed and see if it would pass. Now, the interesting story I've heard is that all the manufacturers showed up at this test site with 18-wheelers full of test equipment and maintenance equipment and specially prepared bikes, and they would run them through the sound trap, trying desperately to get down below the decibel level that was being required by the federal government. BMW, on the other hand, sent a rider up there on a bike. He rode his bike up to the test site, went through the audio test track sound level check, and then left because he passed no grief with no special equipment, as BMWs are so nice and quiet inherently from the factory. So it's really funny how all the big guys just trying desperately to get down below the dB level, and good old BMW just sailed right through. Norton, besides the exhaust, had a lot of intake noise, sort of like a big Hemi, Dodge Hemi, when they pull away and they go, whoa. Oh, I love that sound. Anyway, so that's what we're doing now. We got to drop off the carburetors and manifolds to get this box out. That's our next objective. We have to take the carbs off anyway because we're going to rebuild them, so it's not wasted effort, but it is a pain. That's where we are this morning, just getting started at, it's 10:30 in the morning. And the fun is just beginning, would say.
That's because we started a shed at 7 this morning.
That's true. We were working over at Kevin's house, building a new shed out behind his workshop for more tools and more storage space, because he's starting to stack up bikes like I am. Just a quick update. We got one off. We're taking the, it's hanging here. I'll show you the slide is jammed completely. I can't even push it up, so that's going to be fun to break it free. Let's see if we can break it free. No, I don't think so. All right, and these Allens in the center here are so hard to get at. I've got a specially modified Allen wrench that's been ground down and has a little hump in it, and just for this one job of getting in here and taking these Allen bolts out. Do it from your side so I can video. I'll hold that up.
Put those handlebars there.
You know, Norton could have put a U-shaped slot on the inside of that manifold where these bolts go. It would have made life a whole lot easier. But no, they didn't do that. It got stuck.
Yeah, still not.
Yeah. Okay, hold the car, but they can...
Yeah, you get it from your side?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, we got it. Anyway, just wanted to give you a quick update on the removal of the carburetors. Nothing's ever easy, especially after they've been on there for like 50 some odd years. Okay, so we got both off. Now we're going to pull the slides out, then take the slides apart and put everything on the bench, and that'll be another project for later on. Right now we still want to get the airbox out. Okay, here's the battery box, and the airbox, the world's ugliest airbox. It was designed by, what was he, masochists? Very evil people. undoubtedly under pressure to accomplish something, and they did, by gosh, accomplish it. So I guess we can't complain too much. But that really is a radical case of overkill. You'd think it would have been easier to do it some other way. So anyway, here's the bike wide open, ventilated. You could probably fly a small Piper Cub through that frame now. All this stuff is out, and we are actually to the point where we can take off the head steady from the top of the motor, and take off the head steady on the isolastic on the front of the engine, prop the engine up on the jack, and lift the frame up so that we can put the new isolastics in here. It's just it's fun, right? Anyway, it's interesting. Well, we've got everything free. Top isolastics are off. The main shaft going through this isolastic is out. You can see it's offset from the hole. The engine is being suspended by the skyhook up here. And the frame is being supported by the jack down here. This is sort of scary stuff. So right now we're going to pull this center bolt out of the front isolastic. It's interesting because the other side has a hex head on it, and you have to line up the hex head exactly and precisely flat up against the engine in order to clear that bolt out of this case. It's just so much fun. So we have to line that up, go rotate it a little bit to the left, and drive it out, and it'll just barely clear this case. That will leave the engine completely suspended from the skyhook. We will be able to lift the engine up, tilt it forward, replace the rear isolastics, then drop it down, hook the rear, put the bolt through there, put in the front isolastics, and then the top isolastics. Now if we go over here, I'll show you the new parts. This is the center bolt from the rear isolastics. These are the new rear isolastics. These are the new front isolastics. And these are the new isolastics for up on top of the head. So these are the parts, and we're about to put them in. And the fun, not that it never stops, it's just beginning. Okay, we've got the front isolastic out. If you're not familiar with the 75 style, this is the adjuster. You no longer have to mess with shims in there. You just adjust this for the clearance that you want. The tighter you clear it, the tighter you set it, the tighter the handling on the bike. You set it a little looser, and the bike handling is a little less tight, but it's more comfortable. So you have to choose between are you a comfortable rider, or do you want to go out and carve corners when you decide the gap you're going to leave your isolastics set to. Over here on this side, the frame is supported on the jack down here. The engine is still suspended from the skyhook, and the engine is completely free and slid forward. And here's your rear isolastics. This is your adjuster, and I'm going to undo this and show you. This is the fiber slider. This is the end cap, and inside here, that's your isolastic rubber in there. So I'm going to probably stop for the day as far as this is concerned, and do a lot of cleaning on parts to get ready for the reassembly tomorrow. This has an Allen in it holding it right there. So I'm going to do a lot of cleaning on the motor and the rear end of the bike right here on the bench. And I'm going to take the front motor mount apart, take all the ISOs out of it, and then clean it and take it outside and put a fresh painted fresh coat of black paint on it. So there's the ISOs in there. So that's going to be it for today. Right now it's going to be a bunch of cleaning. Okay, the engine is still hung from the skyhook. And pull the exhaust pipes off and the shock absorbers off to give us more movement. I pulled the old isolastic out of here. You can see it goes in pretty easily. That's the old one. And basically it shouldn't go in easy because it's supposed to be tight fit. For example, if you take the new one and try to stick it in, it's not going to go. So it's going to have to be massaged in and pulled in. Now, speaking of pulling it in, it takes a special tool. I happen to have a special tool. I'm going to show you how it works. We're going to go over to the vise. I have the front isolastic unit here, and I've actually started pulling the inside cushions out when I stopped to say, I should show people how to do this. So here's my special tool. It's a piece of PVC pipe long enough to absorb that whole shock assembly and the other one I showed you, And you put this over here like this, Scooby-Dooby-Doo. Then you put this on the end, Ding-dong. Then you put this on here. And spin it down. It's going to be hard with me holding the camera. All right, it's starting to tighten up. And at this point, you keep turning this while holding this end with a wrench, and this end gets turned with a wrench, and it will pull that rubber bumper unit, shock absorber unit, right out of there. And when it starts to fall off, basically, you're just about done. There. And it'll pull it out. It's a little crude, but incredibly effective. I made this years ago, and I've pulled out a lot of isolastics. And what you do, you turn it around, the same tool will pull the isolastics into the mounting assembly. So this unit works for both taking them out and putting them in. So next time I do it, I'll use a camera prop so you can see it a little clearer. I'll be putting this back in here tomorrow after I paint that front isolastic unit. And there it is. All right, good enough. I'm going to take this outside, put a quick coat of black paint on it so it'll be a little prettier. Put it back together tomorrow and start putting this bike back on its feet. There's the disaster area I refer to as my bench after a long, hard day's work.